Okay, welcome everyone to another flashlight video. Today we're comparing the new Thrunite TC20 version 2 to a flashlight I reviewed back in the past on my channel, the Rofis MR70. So we're going to do a comparison between these two lights. I decided to do a comparison between these two lights. They're both 26650 flashlights. They're both very popular. Thrunite's very popular. The TC20 is obviously very new. The MR70 has been out for a while. So let's just compare these two flashlights together. Take a quick look at both of them here. And we'll go through some of this. We'll also be taking these outside to compare them lumens to lumens. So we'll be doing that at the end of the video real fast. I'll try to make this rather quick. I know sometimes I can be rather long-winded, so I apologize for that. Okay, let's go through the basic specs between the two lights. The TC20 has a XHP70.2 LED. The MR70 has a XHP70.2 P2 LED. They're both IPX8 waterproof. They both do have memory. The Thrunite, the TC20, is USB-C rechargeable, while the Rofis is micro USB. They both do have battery indicators. Although with the TC20, it stays on constantly. With the MR70, it just comes on for a couple seconds and then turns off. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we go through it. Like I said, they're both 26650 lithium-ion rechargeable batteries. Housing-wise, you'll see that the, let me take this off here so you can see what I'm talking about. So bear with me for a second. The Thrunite is on there really tight and can be hard to open at times, so just caution there. I'm going to take the battery out of that one. And let's take off the MR70. The MR70, it does thread off very smoothly, so I do like that. But let's look at the thickness of these two. Let me see if I can get this into focus better, sorry. As you can see, the Thrunite's a bit thicker, the housing's a bit thicker on the right, the TC20, than the MR70. So you got a little bit more thickness, probably a little bit better quality and durability probably on the Thrunite, just because of the thickness of the housing. Another difference between these two lights that you may or may not know, the MR70 is a solid housing, so this is one solid piece. It doesn't have a separate piece like this one on the Thrunite. The head does come off. You can take it off and take it apart. That may be a pro or con for some of you. Some of you may like the idea that you can take it apart and play with the electronics or adjust things or what have you want to do. With the MR70, you cannot do that. It's one solid piece. So that could be a pro or con depending on your viewpoint, just so you know. Let's see, put that back here, and we'll continue going through here. And at first it seems the Thrunite threads on okay, but it does get rather tight, a little hard to turn. I don't know why that is, but just something to be aware of. The MR70 doesn't do that. It might be the type of threads it has. It might be I also need to grease the Thrunite. I did not grease it, so that could be part of it. So that may not be Thrunite's fault. That might be my fault that I didn't grease it. However, I do like when they do pre-grease the threads when they come from the manufacturer. I just think that's something the manufacturer should do. So again, I'm not going to completely knock Thrunite for that, because that might be something that I just need to do on my end. And I have done with other flashlights I've owned previously. I've had to grease the threads. So it's always good to keep the threads greased so you don't have any problems down the road. Here's another thing here. So we talked about the thickness of the two. Which one's grippier? Now, just holding both of these in my hand, I gotta say the Thrunite is definitely grippier. This Knurling on here is far grippier than the Rofis. So just something to be aware of there. I would say definitely if you're wearing gloves, you probably like the feel of the Thrunite, because it's probably less likely it's going to slip out of your hand, especially if you're wearing gloves or something. So keep that in mind. They both do tail stand. If you can see, the Rofis is slightly taller than the Thrunite. Not terribly, but it is slightly. So the Rofis would definitely take up a little bit more space in your pocket or coat or jacket or whatever you want to do. So just keep that in mind. The Thrunite will probably fit easier in your pocket, although it's going to have to be a fairly large pocket because both these lights are fairly hefty. They are 26-650 flashlights, so they are going to be a bit chunky in your pocket, as most of you would already know, being a 26-650 flashlight. Max lumens, we're going to do this more when we get outside, but we're going to go through the specs real fast. The Rofis has a max lumens of 3,500 lumens, while this cool white version of the Thrunite TC20 version 2 has 4,068 lumens. Okay, on the lowest modes, the Thrunite does have a 0.3 lumen Firefly mode, and its low is 35 lumens. And the Rofis MR70, the lowest it goes is 30 lumens. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Max throw, the TC20 has a longer throw, 299 meters versus the Rofis MR70, which is 248 meters. If you can see, they're relatively the same size. If you put them head to head, they're relatively the same size head. Not sure the depth of the reflector per se, but they look pretty close, pretty on par with each other. So the Thrunite might have a slightly deeper or wider reflector, might help it to give it a little bit more throw. But you'll see that more outside in the beam shots, just so you know. I'm going to put this on the screen while I'm talking about it. We're going to go through the... I'm going to put this on the screen so you see in the screen what I'm talking about. All right, so we're going to go through the modes as far as lumens go. The TC20 has Firefly 0.3 lumens. The MR70 does not have that mode. Low on the TC20 is 35 lumens, like I said. On the MR70 is 30. Mediums, 320 lumens on the TC20. 450 lumens on the Rofis MR70. High is 1,853 lumens on the TC20. And on the Rofis, it's 1,500 lumens on high, and it will drop down to 1,000 lumens. Turbo, both flashlights will step down over time from heat. The TC20 has a max lumens of 4,068 lumens, will drop down to 1,722 lumens, while the Rofis MR70 will start out at 3,500 lumens, drop down to 1,500 lumens, and drop down further to 1,000 lumens. The strobe on the TC20 is 1,470 lumens, or 75 lumens, sorry. The MR70 is 2,000 lumens. SOS, there is no SOS on the TC20. However, there is 1,000 lumens of SOS on the MR70. As I said before, max throw 299 meters on the TC20, 248 meters on the MR70. Maybe you'll get to see a little bit more about that on the beam shots at night. The candela, max candela for the TC20 is 22,400 lumens, and the MR70 is 15,390 lumens. So that should have been on your screen, so you can check that out. Let's talk about a few other things here. I got some pros and cons. Whoops, I just bumped the tripod. Sorry about that. All right, here's some pros about the MR70. The Rofis here. It can be used as a battery bank. So this one does have an advantage. You can use this as a battery bank. That's a pretty cool feature. It's a feature I really like on it. That feature is not on the TC20, but a lot of flashlights don't have that feature. The MR70 does have a side light. Okay. I'll be honest. I thought this would be a really neat feature. I haven't used it a whole lot. I could see for some that would be handy. They might really like that feature. But I find if I want some light just to illuminate the room, I just tail stand it. And of course you can tail stand both of these, no problem, to turn them into like a lamp or a lantern. So I haven't really used this side light a whole lot. I haven't really found a need or a use for it. It's a neat feature to have. Some of you might really like it. For me, it hasn't really been a big thing. Low mode. So let's go talk about the low mode. The Rofis has a low mode of 30 lumens, and it will run for 120 hours versus the Thrunite, which will run 35 lumens, and that only runs for 77 hours. So the MR70, you are going to get a longer runtime on low. Just that might be something you'd want to consider. Pro and con, this could be a pro and con. Like I said, this is a one-piece shell where the Thrunite, you can take the head off. You know, of course, you can, on both of them, you can take the tail cap off. So that might be a pro and con, depending on how you view that. Now, holsters. Let's look at the holsters on these two. Okay, on the left, this is the Rofis, and on the right is the Thrunite TC20. Now, as you can see, the Thrunite's a bit thinner, probably not as hefty as the Rofis. The only thing I noticed I liked on the Rofis a bit more was you can just pop it on your belt. You can just clip it on there, and of course you can run your belt through it too. I like that so that way I don't have to take my belt off in order to put the holster on my belt to carry it around. The Thrunite does not have that. You have to thread your belt through here. There is no Velcro way to snap it on there or whatever. So that's the difference I see there. Perhaps in the future, Thrunite will put that on their holsters. I really do like that feature. It makes it easier to put it on and off on the go really quickly. So something to keep in mind. Some cons of the MR70. Let's talk about some of the cons that I see. It's micro USB, where the Thrunite is USB-C. A lot of people are really preferring to have USB-C, and a lot of the light manufacturers are heading that way. So I like to see that Thrunite did put in a USB-C on here instead of the micro USB like it's on the Rofis. A con, this one's slightly bigger. It's bigger. It's definitely bigger lengthwise. Thickness they're pretty similar. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. What else? Rofis. Okay, so let's talk about Rofis versus Thrunite. Rofis, these are still available online. You can still buy the MR70. There are other models from Rofis online. However, I can no longer find their website. So I can't confirm that they're out of business, but it doesn't look good when I can't find their website. It could be that they're just taking it down and redoing it. I don't know. But the reason I bring this up is because the Rofis has a longer warranty. It's a 5-year warranty without getting all the details over the Thrunite. Thrunite has a 2-year and a 3-year warranty for replacement and everything. And the Thrunite's been around since 2009. So I'm a little wary of the Rofis warranty, because if Rofis isn't around, the warranty obviously doesn't mean a whole lot, because you want to be with a company that's going to be around to support their products. So right now, I got to say the Thrunite TC20 has a big win on the warranty, just because they've been in business since 2009. They're still there. They're still going to take care of you. However, the Rofis, I got some question marks. I could be wrong, like I said, on the information, but from what I researched, I can't find their website anymore. It seems like it's disappeared. So that's a pretty big con for the Rofis. All right, so let's talk about pros for the Thrunite. Again, USB-C, rechargeable. I do like this. The battery indicator stays on. Okay, so if I turn this light on, the battery indicator stays on, while on the Rofis, let's see here. Well, it doesn't even come on. I'm not sure what's going on there. But the Rofis only stays on for a few seconds and then turns off. The Thrunite, it stays on the entire time. And why do I like that? First of all, it uses very little electricity, so it's not going to drain your battery by staying on. And at night when it's dark, sometimes you can have a hard time finding the switch. And with this, you can easily find the switch because it's always illuminated. And you can constantly get an update about what your battery level is, whether your flashlight needs to be recharged or is getting pretty low. I really like that. So I see that as a big plus for the Thrunite. The Knurling, like I said before, it's grippier on the Thrunite. So if you're wearing gloves or just your hands, this is going to definitely hold in your hands better than the Rofis. So I definitely go that way with the Thrunite. Again, Thrunite's been around since 2009, as already discussed. Rofis got some question marks about that. Available colors. This is a pro for the Thrunite. The Thrunite is available in this gorgeous desert tan that you see here. It is also available in black and metal gray. So you get 3 different choices as to what flashlight on the outside you choose. So I like that. The Rofis MR70 only comes in black. Okay. And the con, I'd say, again, on the Thrunite is a con would be no SOS. So not sure why they didn't want to put a SOS in there. I actually prefer beacon. Neither one of these flashlights have beacon. So, but anyway, no SOS on the Thrunite. However, there is an SOS on the MR70. But what you guys probably want to see the most is you want to see these guys go head-to-head outside. So let's go ahead and head outside and let's compare these flashlights lumen to lumen. Okay, we're outside here with the Rofis MR70 and the Thrunite TC20 version 2. And we're going to go ahead and compare them head-to-head through all the modes. We'll start out with the, just so you know, the Rofis will be in my left hand and the Thrunite will be in my right hand. And we're going to start out in Firefly on the TC20. You probably can't make it out on camera, but it is shining. It is there. That is 0.3 lumens. As we said before, the Rofis does not have a low mode or a Firefly mode equivalent to the Thrunite. So that could be very useful for reading things, stuff like that. But let's go ahead and bump it up the next one. And we'll go ahead and turn the MR70 on. This is 30 lumens. The MR70 can make out that bird bath about 50 feet away. There's a tree off to the left. I can see it with my eye, but it's not quite coming out in the camera. So let's try the TC20. TC20 is 35 lumens. Still a little difficult. I make out the bird bath. I can see, as I said with the MR70, I could see the tree to the left of the bird bath, a small tree. It's a small fruit tree. So let's bump it up here with the Rofis to the next setting here. This is the Rofis, and this is medium. Rofis MR70 is 450 lumens. 450 lumens. Now the TC20 and medium, 320 lumens. The Rofis MR70, TC20. All right, let's bump it up again. Let's bump up to high. This time we'll do it on the TC20 first. Let me bump it up here. All right, this is high, 1,853 lumens. With the TC20, does very, very well. This is the MR70 on high. It's high again, it's 1,500 lumens. It will drop down eventually to 1,000 lumens. This is the TC20. High 1,853 lumens. Seems to have a nicer beam, a little more focused beam on the Thrunite TC20, as you can see. All right, let's turn those off. Now let's do the turbo test. So I'm going to do the turbo. Again, the MR70 is in my left hand and the TC20 is in my right hand. So the MR70 max lumens 3,500 lumens. And the TC20, 4,068 lumens. So let's do the MR70. I'm going to step down right away. That's the TC20. That 4,068 lumens doing very well. And I have changed the the batteries out on the MR70, but it doesn't seem to want to hold turbo very long. Holds it for a moment, and the battery's fully charged. So, and I've actually changed out the battery, so this is just the way it is. And you can see the 4,068 lumens of the TC20 when it comes on, while the MR70 still is in turbo, overpowers the MR70. So sorry guys, it wasn't the best comparison in the world, but that's just the way it is. So anyway, that's the comparison of the Rofis MR70 and the Thrunite TC20 version 2. Hopefully you like this comparison. And anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you again for Thrunite for sending me this TC20 version 2. And I appreciate you all. You all take care and happy lumens.